Well, hey guys, it's 𝗣𝗶𝗱. Welcome back. This video we're going to be doing some shop talk about how I installed an oil cooler in this particular skid steer. This machine was shipped without one. If you got a model like that, this will probably be a helpful video. We're going to cover how I went about adapting an oil cooler to this machine that had some very difficult to find DINS fittings. I'm also going to give you guys a link to another YouTube channel that has a lot of really good info. I think it's well worth subscribing to. And if whether you got a skid steer or a mini excavator, if you don't have an oil cooler, a lot of the mini excavators don't come with them. This video may be helpful as well. So stick around, enjoy the video. So the reason why I initially wanted to install an oil cooler on this machine was right off the bat, working on a cool 60-degree day. Within an hour, the oil got to about 150 degrees Fahrenheit. And I feel like on a hot summer day, that's just going to keep creeping higher and higher. It just kept going up as you run it more. That wasn't going to work for me because I want to be able to run this thing for more than an hour at a time. So oil cooler it was. A lot of them come with really large oil coolers. That's especially for the 3-pump units. You're going to be running like things like stump grinders and different things that require ditching trenchers, things like that. This was only a 2-pump unit, and I was never going to be running attachments like that. Most of them I'm going to run off my hydraulic takeoff is like for my grapple, a few things like that. But oil cooler was key for running for multiple hours at a time, especially in summertime. So I went about it after trying to dig up the large full-size oil cooler online. I couldn't find those very easily. Between Amazon and eBay, I found some oil coolers. There's quite a few of these little ones out there that have a fan in the back of them. And this one I ended up finding and getting an offer from the seller for $112, which was pretty good. It's actually pretty good weld quality. Nice aluminum oil cooler, very thick with a 12-volt fan on the back. So like I previously mentioned, you could find these on Amazon and eBay. A lot of them had very vague information about the inlets and outlet on here, what thread size. I went for the ones that seemed the closest to make sense to me. They didn't say national pipe thread on them, but they gave a 3/4 inch suggestion, so I crossed my fingers and hoped it worked. They have some that come with different styles of inputs and outputs, and a lot of them come with 1/2 inch. And I did not want that, as it was going to restrict the return flow too much. You don't really want any restriction in your return flow back to your tank. And I also did some calculations on the flow rate of my 2 pumps. Maximum flow, this was not going to be restricted at all in here. Now let's jump over and talk about the fittings on this machine and how I went about adapting them to simple JICs. So what I ended up doing was I went through my system and found the return lines out of my 2 valve bodies. They come through here, one comes right up here, they neck together in this Y junction. There's a line fitting right here you can remove to take the line off. It dropped down, way down towards the belly pan of the machine, went to another DIN fitting, and then went to a flexible rubber line to my tank. I'll overlay some footage. I didn't get a bunch of it when I was installing this, but I'll overlay a few things right there. I started measuring out my fittings, and I'm gonna suggest a YouTube channel right now. It's the Garage Connection. The fella Cam on there has a lot of good information. I highly recommend you subscribe to it. I'll put links to 2 videos down below in the description. Specifically, one, he covers DIN fittings. I know National Pipe Thread, I know JIC. These my Yanmar runs. British pipe parallel, I think it is. It's all those things like the DINs, fittings, light. That's what these things run. A little more complex to get the parts. You can find them. They're pretty common in Europe. But Cam on the Garage Connections will cover all that in the video. That's where I went to refer to some of those measurements on here. It was super helpful. So check out that video if you're trying to understand what size fittings you might be having on your machine. You can mic them out with some calipers. And it's going to save you some money when you order the stuff, because you'll probably get the right parts when you order it from anywhere online that sells these. Another video I'll put to his channel where he goes over that some of these return lines and some of these machines, excavators, his oil kits, he was having a hard time finding this DIN, I think it was a 27 mil. They just were not almost in existence. He could not find them. So once I started coming to the conclusion that I had some of that DIN 27 return line, it was time that I was going to modify this and fit my own fittings on here. And that was simply done once I decided that I'm not going to go and try to dig up some parts that are oddball on titanium. It was time to get out the TIG welder, TIG weld up some connections. So here's a little bit of a close-up for the return system. Keep in mind, a good return system should not have any restrictions in it. It should flow out of the valve bodies through the oil cooler back to the oil tank without any restrictions. That's why I sized this correctly so it can flow more than my pumps can flow. and I got larger size inlets and outlets. So when I run adapters, it's not restricting anything. This 𝗖𝐼C 10, number 10 size hose is the same size or larger than the whole return system flowing back to the tank. So here's the stock pipe that comes out of one of my valve bodies, and it Ys in with the other valve body return hose. This is all my return hose going down. I can retain the stock metric fitting here in case I want to take this component off of here to work on anything. But this metal hard line went straight down towards the floorboard of the machine and came back to the tank in a flexible rubber line. And again, I couldn't get those fittings, so I decided I was going to mount the hydraulic cooler in the stock location where they should have been. And I ended up cutting this return tube, figuring out where I want to cut it off. I cut it off right here, and then I TIG welded on a 45-degree union, a 𝗖𝐼C number 10, TIG welded it to that return line so it points the line off in that direction. Keep in mind these are 3/4 inch. So I bought a 3/4 inch national pipe thread to a number 10 𝗖𝐼C fitting. Unfortunately, the original hoses I ordered for this application, I could only find double braided metal lines in surplus center, and they were way too stiff. So instead of ordering some more, I talked to one of my friends. He had a lot of hydraulic components at his shop, and he went through and he dug up some of these build your own hydraulic hoses, and that was key. So you may consider, if you want to do an elbow like this, elbow is built into the hose. If you want to do an elbow, you may consider getting like a 3/4 inch to a 𝗖𝐼C 90-degree fitting down here. Just kind of whatever works for your application. So we'll cover the return to the tank now. Of course, the oil comes in here, goes through the oil cooler, out the exact same style fittings as I had on the inlet, out that build your own hose I had. But again, if you run some 𝗖𝐼C number 10, try to find single wire so it's more flexible. Comes back to the tank. Here was that really oddball fitting I had. We'll get a close-up of that. I'll explain what I had to do here.
For some reason, they chose to use that weird oddball M27 hydraulic fitting. Here's the bad part. They don't exist. Nobody makes an M27 by 1.5 DIN 18 fitting at all.
So my return line comes into the tank here. This was the oddball fitting I could not find, and I just wasn't going to waste any more time with it. This under this red cap is the return hydraulic filter inside of here. So there was a fitting here. I'll put some specs on the screen of what the measurements were. I took the line, the stock line off right here, pulled this fitting. It had like a seal face, like an O-ring. Pulled this out, cleaned all the galvanizing off of this original fitting here, and I ended up TIG welding on a straight union number 10 𝗖𝐼C to this. So like that unthreads off this aluminum housing, so I was able to weld these two components together on a workbench, cleaned them all up, threaded it back in, cut my hose to fit. Again, if you have time and your machine can be down for a while, you may consider your game plan on all this, and then you may get your fittings everywhere you kind of want. Order a few hoses. That's the biggest thing, is like these hoses are really flexible, build your own. You can cut them in length and thread them together, but I haven't found a ton of sources where you can get those. You may even talk to a hydraulic shop. I'm sure they're available online. Like I said, my friend just had these, hooked me up with them, and I was able to fit them in here. So that's the simple system. So while I had the oil cooler removed, I ended up putting on these with a little bit of Teflon tape. These are 3/4 inch pipe to number 10 𝗖𝐼C adapters. I also flipped the fan around because before it was drawing air in, which I might go back to that because it wouldn't be bad to have air coming out from the grill here. But the engine air is blowing through here, and I just figured with all the openings down here, might as well just have everything go out rather than this fan fighting down, that fan fighting up. Engine doesn't really blow out that much heat because there's so much flowing through there. So figured might as well just create more of a vortex through here and blow the radiator air out through the hood. So this has nothing to do with the oil cooler, but I'm going to mention this in case you guys have these on your machine. They're basically flow controls, and they come out of the forward drive lines to your hydraulic motors, not reverse, only forward. When I first got them, I played around with them because I wanted to know what exactly these did. Really simple. They're both shut on this machine. And if you travel both your sticks forward, say it was veering right, that would mean that your left track is getting more flow than your right. If you had an issue, like I said, both of mine are closed, but you would loosen up a jam nut here, and if that was the case, you'd back this one open a little bit, just a little, like a quarter turn, and you would stick both your levers forward, see if it travels still. If it still travels right, you'd open this flow up a little bit more until you get it dialed in so your machine travels straight. All it does is it dumps off a little of your high pressure side to your drive motor, dumps off a little bit of flow right back to your return tank by this restrictor valve. Really simple. Well, I hope that video was helpful. Hope to give you some information and maybe some confidence on what you may have to do, especially if you have some oddball fittings on your machine, you can't find the right hoses. For me, 𝗂𝐼C, I like those, so that's why I just decided to get the adapters, run those. I have a drawer full of adapters, and my friends have some hydraulic parts too. So that was pretty simple. I'll put a few links below with some basic 𝗂𝐼C stuff I found on Amazon. Surplus Center is another good source. Their shipping's gonna kind of cost you a little bit. And don't forget that the garage connection, those videos down below, highly recommend you subscribe to his channel. Cam does some pretty good videos on a wide range of different machines. When he first got the channel going, taking one of his H12 or something like that, he basically pulls almost everything apart, down to even the hydraulic pump on that, to show you the inside of how those components work. Great channel, great fella, good information. Those hydraulic fittings, he breaks that down so it's very easy to understand for all these DIN light fittings on these machines. Now, I know this video is not going to do very well because a lot of my subscribers don't probably want to sit through something like this. So if you enjoyed the video, got some information out of it, consider buying me a coffee. So you can put a little donation in there. That would help me out a lot, make more videos like this, because this video will probably do nothing on YouTube, but it'd probably be like a few hundred people want to watch it. So yeah, link below to buy me a coffee in the description or the top of the comments. Thanks so much. Until next time, bye.